Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, your weekly injection of mind-numbing local news. My name is Alex, and joining me over Skype, still well, but working from home, is Rob. How are you there, Rob?
I'm finding myself, Al. It's,
how's your week been?
Pretty bleak. Yeah. What I'm concerned about is
desolate.
This is. We said on the last podcast that we're both working from home now, and it's only been a week and it's already a struggle. Yeah,
and this could go on. I mean, let's not talk about how long it could go on for, Rob, but I suspect quite a long time. One thing I just wanted to say, Rob, actually, I want to say it to you and I want to say it to our listeners as well, because I thought it was very important, is that I was listening to the radio earlier and this woman who was a microbiologist, whatever they're called, epidemiologist, expert, rang in and she said that right now, if you get the sniffles, even the sniffles, isolate. And the reason that she said she wouldn't have said that a few weeks ago, but that she is saying it now, and it's because all the other winter bugs that people typically pick up, colds and flus, are really now out of the ecosystem, as it were. And that anything you get now is really 90% likely to be coronavirus, COVID-19.
Because I've been sneezing.
And she said if you've got hay fever symptoms as well, just self-isolate.
Rather disturbingly, I was on the... so we had to fill in... because there's a strong possibility in my job that we might be redeployed to other areas.
Oh, is that true?
And
like what?
Yeah. I don't know yet.
What, you
we just had to fill in...
Right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We had to fill in our experience, and so they could, if we had a matching skill set, we could then move to other teams. Anyway, it turns out that I'm actually I'm classed as having an underlying health condition, so that's nice.
Why? Because of your asthma?
Yeah.
Well, does that mean you wouldn't be deployed? Or
well, it means that I might be working for another team, but I would still be working from home.
But you sound quite happy about that, Rob. But on the other hand, you're not happy about working from home all the time. You sound conflicted.
I mean, Alex, this whole situation has left me just confused.
Rob, what the fuck was going... Right, we're recording for the Fastidious Amongst You on the 23rd of March. What the fuck was going on this weekend? Rob, the great British public, a lot of them, used this weekend as an excuse to have a jolly up.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And what I love is that I always thought that if fascism came into this country, like martial law, totalitarian rule, I thought if it came in, it would be through an authoritarian government imposing it upon us. But no, it looks like the only reason it's going to come in is because people can't be sensible and wanted to go out and have a good time. My parents lived down in Dorset, said the beaches were packed.
Alex, you can't blame them. This... For God's sake, this is England, okay? The sun was out. It was a weekend. What do you expect people to do? Yes, there's a deadly virus killing thousands across the world, but, Johnny English from fucking Skegness needs to be on that beach getting a suntan.
Oh, no, it's just unbelievable. I was so... And when I saw the pictures of the London Underground this morning, I was so... The pictures and the videos, I was so angry because not all those people are key workers. And when I saw the pictures of Tesco at the weekend who opened their special hour for NHS workers and everybody else fucking turned up and pretended that they were nurses or whatever just so they could grab however many more bags of crisps.
I mean, I do think, though, I know that especially where I live, so I get the Central Line into work, and the Central Line has been reduced to 20 minutes. So there's one tube every 20 minutes. So I think maybe if those people were key workers, and I think you're absolutely right, I don't think the bulk of them were, you can kind of understand why it was so busy. But at the same time, I do wonder whether these are people who are on 0 hours contracts who literally need to go to work, and I don't know how it works with the government's new initiatives, but maybe that's it.
The problem, I think, with part of the reason why the tubes are so packed is because a lot of people aren't getting clarity from their employers or are basically being told, come to work or you're fired.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's that.
Yeah.
And I actually want to start off, Rob, this podcast. But before we do, Rob and I have a big announcement to make. And I have to say, Rob, in the history of this podcast, it is enormous, isn't it?
It is. It really is, yeah.
Rob and I are expecting a baby.
I was about to say, are we talking about the podcast announcement or we just... No, it doesn't matter.
Rob and I are still going to record this podcast for free, as always. Don't worry about that. Unfortunately, the government's new scheme whereby you get 80% of your wages paid doesn't really affect us, Rob, because I worked out that 80% of zero is still zero. Rob and I will continue to do this episode for free, and we're going to continue to do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to add another, especially for the time being, another episode, well, a different podcast entirely, to our portfolio, if you like, to keep people entertained. It will still come through on your local anaesthetic feed. It'll say local anaesthetic, but our new podcast, which is not going to be about local news and will also be for free, and don't worry about that if anybody was worried that I was going down that direction, is going to be called, Rob and I came up with this idea years ago. Do you want to say what it's going to be called, Rob? Go on.
Daft Talk.
And it has nothing to do with local news, and we will leave you to see what it's all about when you listen, but it will be entertaining, and I think it will really get you through these difficult times. Because actually, Rob, I think some people want to be able to listen to something and switch off completely from any news, whatever that is.
Well, just to, it might be a nice time to mention that we did have some comments from after last week's episode. So Steve just says, I think a new segment called Alex's Conspiracy Corner would be most welcome.
I like that. Maybe we could put that on Daft Talk.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
And then Amy responded, oh yeah, and a daily episode while we're all bored. I mean, Amy, it's not going to be a daily episode, but at least hopefully it'll be 2 episodes a week, all being well.
Yeah, Rob and I are trying to up it to 2 episodes a week, but it won't be 2 episodes of LA... Well, it will be 2 episodes of LA Podcast, but one will be LA Podcast, you know, your local news stuff, and the other one will be LA Podcast Daft Talk, which is something else entirely. And that should be with you, I hope, at some point over the weekend. You should get that dropped through to your phone. It's very exciting. Rob and I haven't completely finalised what we're going to do on it yet, but we are kind of halfway there. Anyway, Rob, can we just get on with this?
Sure.
I just want to say a few things. One is that in other news, as you know, Alex Salmond was acquitted today of all charges. Did you hear this?
I did hear this, yes.
And it was fantastic because when he was when he came out of the courtroom, he gave a very brief, I'd probably put it at about 1.5 minute, 2-minute speech. And he said, it was actually very enjoyable to watch because he said, whatever nightmare I've been in, it's as of nothing compared to the nightmare that every single one of us is currently living through. And he looked at the press and he said, you shouldn't be here right now. You should really not be in such close proximity to each other. I understand it's your job, but go home. And then he just looked at them all and just said, God help us all. And left.
Oh my God.
It really did feel end of days.
Also, I mean, obviously he's been found guilty by a court of his peers, and obviously he's been through an awful lot, whether he commits...
No, found not guilty.
Sorry, that's what I meant, found not guilty. So given that ideal, apparently the situation we're currently facing is worse than that.
Well, and it is. But I'll tell you something else that's interesting, Rob. Guess who's been tested positive for coronavirus?
A lot of people, Alex.
In sort of ironic news of the week. Well, it's Harvey Weinstein from the New York prison he's in.
I read that, yeah.
So, you know.
Small mercies.
Now, something a bit light-hearted around coronavirus. I don't know if you saw this, Rob. I hope that you did. I'm going to read it out now. So, basically, somebody put together a compilation of clips of different mayors of provinces in Italy who basically had to get to the state that we're getting into now, where people weren't following the rules. And basically having to tell them to start following the rules. Have you seen this?
No, of course I have.
So I'm going to read out the translate. I'm looking at the videos now. I'm going to translate. So if you imagine these are mayors talking to camera.
Okay.
From a mayoral office. So first one. I'm getting news that some of you would like to throw graduation parties. We will send the police over with flamethrowers. I enjoyed that one. I think I was being a bit ironic.
Hopefully.
I'm going to catch you tomorrow, not in a year. Tomorrow, this mayor is screaming at the camera. I'm the mayor. You won't stroll in my town. I can't formally ban you from leaving your house. Nice. I will ban you from stepping on public soil. And they go on in a continuing vein. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you going out for walks with your dog?
Sorry, a mayor said this.
Another man walking up to some people playing table tennis. What are you doing playing ping pong? Go home. They try and argue with him. He's shouting at them, I'm the mayor of this city. I'll make sure you follow this decree. So quite extraordinary, but well worth a watch if you want to go onto Twitter.
Lovely.
And watch those. And Rob, one of the things that has been... Look, I think what's happening at the moment in the world is showing the best of humanity and the worst. The best would be some people are looking after each other, doing nice things for each other, caring for one another. The worst would be people like this doctor who was exposed in the Times. Did you hear about him?
No.
I'm really surprised. So basically, this is from the Times of London. So this is this private doctor who's a cardiologist, 56-year-old Dr. Mark Alley, who advertises online and sells you test kits so you can test yourself for coronavirus. Or no, and send them off. Yeah.
Yes, I think I have.
And he
this.
says he works out of a private Harley Street. Well, his company is called Private Harley Street Clinic Limited, but it turned out it's based in his flat in North London. And he's been selling these kits, which are real, for £375 a pop. And in 1 week, how much money did he make, Rob?
I wouldn't like to think, Alex. A couple of million, probably.
£2.5 million.
Yeah, also.
I'd have no problem with him going to jail.
No, the fact you're willing to capitalise on this, and also by stoking fears as well. The fact that people feel they need to spend this money in order to find out whether they're infected with this virus, and that you would be willing to profiteer on the back of that is disgusting.
Yes, and there are lots of people doing that kind of thing. Just selling all kind of things on eBay. It's been fascinating me looking at eBay and the things that people are selling and for the prices. Some people have had a joke with it. One guy just put on, it just was a picture of one loo roll, and the title was "One loo roll, £500." But he was having a joke with it.
Yeah, that's obviously a joke. Yeah, we appreciate that.
Okay, Rob, this is from CNN. This is really interesting. It's by John Blake from March the 23rd. Headline: Coronavirus is bringing a plague of dangerous doomsday predictions. Okay, get ready for this, Rob. In the summer of 2008, an elderly psychic who claimed she started receiving premonitions at aged 5 published a book that contained an ominous prediction. Do you want to hear it?
Do I want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
11 years ago. In around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. Almost more baffling than the illness itself will be the fact it will suddenly vanish as quickly as it arrived and attack again 10 years later and then disappeared completely.
I read this. Yeah, I remember reading this now. And it.
Well, you read her book, did you? End of Days, it was called.
Yeah. By the way, I was on Amazon the other day because I'm getting a new phone, and I was looking for a new phone case. No, it wasn't Amazon. I do apologise. It was on Google Play. So they do like a weekly roundup of books, that they're promoting. And one of the books was called End of Days. Now, surely someone's having a joke, right?
I don't know. But anyway, the prediction faded from public memory, and the book's author, Sylvia Browne, died in 2013. But basically, it's brought new attention to this book, which has been flying off Amazon, and it's now going for quite high prices because people want to get it. Because they believe that if she knew about this, she must know about everything. But I wanted to do some investigative journalism, Rob, which I did. So I just want to tell people, in case they want to get this book, about Sylvia Browne.
That's very impressive, Al. I must say. I'm impressed by this.
So Browne has made many public pronouncements which were subsequently proven false. Among the more notable incidents were the following, which are disgusting. In 2002, Browne informed the parents of 11-year-old Sean Hornbeck, who disappeared earlier that year, that he'd been kidnapped by a dark-skinned Hispanic man with dreadlocks, and who had since died. And that their child had died. But he was later found alive in 2007, and his kidnapper was Caucasian and short-haired.
What the fuck?
In November 2004, Browne told the mother of a kidnapping victim, Amanda Berry, who had disappeared 19 months earlier, in quotes, "She's not alive, honey." She claimed that she was in water and she had a vision of the child's jacket in the garbage with DNA on it. Berry's mother died so the child's mother died 2 years later, Rob, believing her daughter had been killed, but the child was found alive in May 2013. So this is the kind of stuff she was up to. John Oliver actually did a whole segment calling her and other people out, and you'll be interested to know that in the 1980s, the FBI and other local authorities began investigating Browne and her businesses, and she was indicted on grand larceny in Santa Clara County on May 26, 1992. And sentenced to 200 hours of community service and 1 year's probation. So I wouldn't rush out going buying that book. I think that one was just a lucky guess.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like that, doesn't it?
So this story, Rob, moving away from coronavirus, I think, for the time being. I would just say, Rob, I actually went out for a run earlier, and I went around my local park, And it wasn't as busy as it normally is, but I'd say it was only 30% less busy. And the amount of people, especially young people, like around the skate park and just hanging around right next to each other, sitting on benches right next to each other. And I did think I wanted to just stand there and just scream at them, 2 meters, 2 meters. But I thought that, I don't know, I thought that might create more problems than it solved, so I didn't do that. They could think I was talking about my penis. That's the problem.
Well, but they wouldn't. Also, I must admit, I'm quite relieved to hear that you've been running because you look very hot and sweaty, and I thought you'd been masturbating.
Well, it was a double, Rob.
And also to cure the virus, not just for
trying to boost
purposes.
I'm trying to boost that immune system. Right, Rob. This is from New Jersey. New Jersey. News 12 is the website.
Hey, I'm walking here, etc.
Okay. This is great. It's only short, but I just love it. I think we can speculate about this. No journalist listed. It's from March the 7th, 2020. Police. Pizza Hut employee fakes robbery to look favourable with corporate. It's a very intriguing story, this, Rob.
Did he? Can I just ask? Did he go and rob a rival pizza chain?
No. A Monmouth County Pizza Hut employee, so your favourite restaurant, or one of them, Rob, Pizza Hut.
Yep.
Allegedly made up a story about a robbery at a store because he wanted to look favourable with corporate, according to police. Howell Township Police say they responded to the Pizza Hut at around 10:30 a.m. in the morning on Friday after employee Joseph Board called 911 to report that a man who was brandishing a handgun had confronted him while demanding cash. Board claimed that he fought off the suspect, who then left the restaurant empty-handed. Police say they were suspicious of Board's story but had to thoroughly investigate it. 26 police officers responded to the scene, spent nearly 2 hours searching for the alleged suspect, and had to take precautionary measures, which involved issuing a shelter in place at the local schools, because you'd have to. There's a guy apparently running around with a gun.
Yeah, that's fair.
But police say that surveillance footage showed that no one left through the door that Board claimed the gunman exited, and that after questioning him further, he admitted he'd made the whole thing up so he could get a pay raise. Explain his thinking to me, Rob, please.
I feel that he's gone from he's taken 2 and 2 and got 8 there. I don't.
Come on, work out his thinking. Put yourself in his shoes. He's thinking to himself, "Man, I really need a raise. How can I convince my employer that I am worthy of a raise?" So, what's his thought process, Rob?
I need to show that I can use my own initiative. I can generate income for the business, right? Okay. So he thinks, right, the only way I can do this, because it's not going to, I'm not going to be able to do this. I need to have impacts, not impacts, but I need to be able to show the impact now.
Can I just say, Rob, you're right, because if you work in a pizza chain like that, it's very hard to show this whole thing about initiative because the menu's already created. It's not like you can just go to your boss and go, "I've created a whole new pizza." They'll say, "We're not interested in that. We've got the pizzas." So his idea is
that I need to be proactive. What can I do to be proactive? I'll go and rob someone and...
No, Rob! No! He didn't rob anybody! He said he was the victim of an attempted robbery and that he fought off the gunman.
That's it. Okay, right, yeah. Okay. So, in that way, unfortunately, the initiative idea doesn't hold up. I mean, unless he was trying to show his bravery.
Exactly. He was taking initiative by not cowering, Rob, behind the pizza ovens, but wrestling this, fighting off this intruder, which I don't think, not many people, I think, would confront somebody who was armed. That's pretty foolish.
No. Yeah, I think that's fair, especially in this case where he, not only did he not do that, he also lied about it.
So that's him. Okay, Rob, last story here. Wales Online. Now, who was this submitted by? I think it was by Amy. Pretty sure it was Amy. Could have been Kyber. I'm sorry, whichever of you it is. I'm pretty sure it's Amy. It's by John Cooper, who's a trainee multimedia journalist, Rob.
I don't understand. What does that mean?
Well, he
looks for stories on Twitter?
Yeah, I don't know. But, Rob, we're back to a Pontin story. We've had about 4 in the past however many months. Family leave Pontin's holiday early because of, in quotes, mould, dead flies and exposed wires in their rooms.
God, is that all?
Yeah, compared to before. Well, let's hear about it. Do you remember, Rob?
That's like 5-star paradise.
Yeah. Do you remember, Rob, our idea for Noel's Pontins Challenge, which was it? Noel Edmonds hosts a reality show where 20 celebrities have to stay at Pontins for 2 weeks. It's just them there, no other guests, and we see what happens.
Yeah, with a list of really Z-list celebrities that from our youth, basically.
Can I just say, Rob, I'm like Dave Benson Phillips, things like that. I'm so unhappy, Rob, that this show... I wish ITV had listened to our podcast and put this show out, Rob, because they could have done a spring-summer special. Noel's Corona Pontins Challenge. And it's not just now 20 celebrities, Z-list celebrities in Pontins for however many weeks, but it's also, I don't know, like one of them has the virus.
Sorry, so you're actively saying that we should infect a minor celebrity, someone that could be a national treasure like Les Dennis.
Now, Les Dennis wouldn't go on there. We said Les Dennis wouldn't go on there, Robbie.
Okay. Bobby Davro. We infect Bobby Davro with the coronavirus, then lock him in Pontins with a load of other celebrities, a la Trevor Simon, for instance.
Yeah, maybe I haven't thought it through. I mean, it does seem a bit cruel, but no more cruel.
No, I like it. I think it works.
Anyway, a family which planned a nice weekend away at a holiday camp. Well, that was their first error there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If somebody says to me a nice week away, I don't think of Pontins. Although, I'd prefer to go for a weekend away in Pontins, Rob, 5 months ago, rather than go to Skegness at the weekend like everybody did, which was mental. Or where else did they go? What was the mount? The mountain.
Oh, Snowdonia.
Snowdonia, yeah. Anyway, they left after one night, Rob, because of the filthy state of their accommodation. Do you know what Pontins said?
Fuck them.
No, they said, well, you did say you wanted a dirty weekend. They didn't.
I mean, I just wish someone had said that. Just a spokesman who'd just gone rogue.
Teresa Barbato, 21, from Port Talbot.
Good name.
I know. Went to Breen Sands. Is that it? Breen Sands in Somerset on Friday.
Yeah. This is the one. This is exactly what we reported on.
February 28th for a 3-night stay along with her partner, mother, grandmother, and grandmother's partner. That sounds like fucking hell.
Yeah, it really does. Fucking hell.
They paid £130 for 2 apartments. If you pay, that's so cheap.
How long? Did you say it was a weekend, right?
3 days, £130 for 2 apartments.
That's questionably cheap.
Teresa received an email from Pontins shortly before the break to offer the family a free upgrade to a higher standard of an apartment called a club apartment, which they accepted. When they arrived, they found that one of the rooms had children's bunk beds in. They claimed there was mould in the bedrooms, faulty electronics, and what they thought was faeces on a pull-out sofa bed.
Oh, God. I mean, let's be honest, it was faeces. There's no two ways about that.
As soon as we opened the door, we found problems. We couldn't believe they expected the elderly disabled people to sleep on bunk beds. Also, my mother and I have fibromyalgia, and my partner is 6 foot 3 inches tall, so it wasn't appropriate for any of us. Teresa's grandmother, Mary John, 68, and her grandmother's partner, Douglas Hookins, they've all got quite odd names. Both have disabilities. We thought it'd be nice to get a weekend away and let everybody forget about their problems. But we had enough. And we went home. Teresa also has asthma. Woke up there with a tight chest. I got out of bed on Saturday. She might have had this coronavirus, Rob.
She may have done, yeah.
Her mother, Rebecca Barbato, they've got great names.
They really do, yeah.
Was staying in the 1-bedroom chalet opposite and had problems of her own. There was a pool of water in the shower that must have been there for days because it had dead flies and spiders in it. There were black stains.
Oh my God.
There were black stains in the toilet. Exposed wires in the bathroom. And we pulled out the sofa bed and it looked like it was covered in faeces. Shortly after arriving on Friday, Teresa had been to the reception at Breen Sands and said the manager offered her a downgrade to a standard apartment, but was told she'd have to... Fuck you, we're downgrading you.
Just how did that conversation go? Look, I've got some complaints about the room. Look, I can't do anything. How about if we give you a worse room, all right? That's all I can do.
50% less shit.
Look, there's a rat dead in the basin. There's a, I don't know, blood smeared at the walls, but I guarantee it'll be a lot worse than you're used to now.
But she was told, Rob, not only was she told that she would be downgraded to a standard apartment, She didn't let me finish. She was told she would have to pay for electricity in the rooms if they decided to move. Look, we'll move you to a less good room, but because I'm doing you this favour, you will have to pay for the electricity.
I don't understand, Alex. How? So, because surely is that not a health and safety issue to say, oh yeah, no, you can use our rooms, you just can't, use any electric items in there?
Well,
that's ridiculous.
The family decided against the downgrade and made a 2-hour drive back to Port Talbot on Saturday morning. Teresa added that she made a complaint on the Pontins Facebook page, but the post has been deleted by Pontins and her profile has been blocked. She said the family had often gone to Breen Sands for holidays in her childhood, but that they had no intention of ever going there again. And there are pictures of these people, and in the comments, Dust Brother just says, the tracksuit explains everything, which, is a bit like one of my Asda people comment. It's not very nice, Rob.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't understand. How is this holiday camp still operating?
Well, customer 408 at btinternet.com seems to just be giving their email address away. That is clean compared to the one we had in Sandbay Western. The manager walked away, would not look, talk, or look at the dirty chalet, refused to look at video evidence. I love this, Rob. I think there's an episode title on here. She just says, dirty, stinking, flea-bitten one-night holiday. Management, absolutely horrible people to deal with. I love the phrase, dirty, stinking, flea-bitten one-night holiday. It sounds like it should be an album by some punk indie band.
Yeah, I get that.
Doesn't it?
There's something quite evocative about it, actually.
I normally say here, don't I? So you've got some stories for us, and I will say that in a second, but I just want you to listen to an audio file I took the trouble of making for us, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So basically, you are listening to LBC like I am, aren't you?
Yeah, not so much recently because I just can't do it to myself. But yes, normally.
So there is a guy on there. I don't know if you've ever listened to him called Ian Payne. Have you ever listened to Ian Payne?
No, I can't say I have.
So Ian Payne used to be a broadcaster on like Sky Sports News and that kind of stuff.
Right.
That was the kind of thing he used to do, but he's been on LBC for years, and he's the only one that I ever listened to on there, apart from Nigel Farage, where I think, but he's nothing like him, I'm just saying, where I think, I'm not sure you're up to this job. Because his show, but it's, Rob, when I say it's as good as Alan Partridge, it's not because he is like Alan Partridge's character, he's completely his own character, but if you listen to his show, I laugh out loud regularly, but not with him, at him. He is extraordinary to listen to, and I really do recommend it to lift your spirits, Rob. Watching him try and wrestle with a difficult issue is just absolutely fantastic. But he always struck me as just being, whenever I listened to him, as being kind of on the edge of a nervous breakdown.
Right.
And I'm going to send you this clip now that we're going to both listen to. And I think I'll see what you mean. Now, before you open it, can I just give you context?
Of course.
So he was talking to a woman who had rung in, who, because of coronavirus, she's an accountant, and she said that basically she'd been laid off.
So, good luck. And that must have been a shock. So what, everyone at that accountancy firm has lost their job now?
No, just me.
Oh, God. Really?
Just me. Yeah, I was the only administrator, not an accountant, so I'm the only one.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, listen, I don't know what to say, to be honest, because it's just a constant stream of bad news, but it will get better. That's what my psychiatrist used to say when I turned up in a state because of my anxiety and depression. Don't want that back.
Don't want that again.
What an extraordinary clip.
Right, Rob, you got some stories for us.
Yeah, the first story is from the Leicestershire Online. It's by Adrian Troughton from the 19th of March 2020. Headline: Man caught on video shopping in full hazmat suit in Leicester Aldi.
Well, I'd wear a full hazmat suit to go to Leicester Aldi at the best of times.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can also remove the word Audi from that sentence.
Anyway, Dudley is another one where I think I'd go fully geared up.
Yeah, Dudley, Warsaw. I mean, most of the West Midlands, I'd say.
Mm.
That is a joke. I'm sure the West Midlands is lovely. I've never been and don't intend to go.
I'm surprised, Rob, because you've been to most places.
Well, I've been to Birmingham. I've been to Wolverhampton. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, that was enough. Come on then.
Yep. So, now, apologies for the pronunciation of the name. Matthias Baran thought he had gone off his trolley when he went to his local supermarket and saw a shopper in a full hazmat suit. The 58-year-old former ambulance motorcycle rider filmed the man as he went about his day around the aisles in Audi and Hamlin, Leicester, on Tuesday around 2 p.m. The clearly concerned customer was also wearing a face mask and black Wellington boots with the suit, the type which is normally worn by emergency services personnel when dealing with hazardous materials and detectives dealing with a crime scene.
Sorry, if you're wearing a hazmat suit, I've got two questions. Why are you wearing a face mask over the hazmat suit, which is bizarre?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think
but
it's
what, extra protection?
Yeah, basically.
Like buying extra strong condoms.
Yeah, I mean, there's no indication that he's erect right at this point, but
yeah. Like, I'm putting 3 condoms on tonight, love, because I'll be honest, you can never be too careful.
Absolutely.
And Wellington boots. What the fuck does he think? It's not Ebola, mate.
No, he's obviously just taking. I mean, I'm assuming this is a stunt. You'd hope it is, because if this guy is legitimately...
I don't believe it is, Rob.
No.
There are people out there who are very worried.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, Alex. And what I love is...
Hey, I fucking just realised I don't have any mask, but what I do have is a Darth Vader helmet. I could wear that. That's got to offer me some protection.
I'm not sure. Well, I mean, you can give it a go.
You don't know the power of coronavirus. Sorry. That's my Vader stuff over.
It feels like a very weak follow-up for Star Wars. Just the entire Imperial Empire has been replaced by the coronavirus. Anyway, I got there with my wife to do some shopping, and then we saw this bloke dressed in a full hazmat suit. He had the full suit on and protective gloves, and the gloves were even taped to his sleeve so he could be fully secure.
Yeah, what I love about it, Rob, is the whole idea he's had is with the Wellington boots and taping the gloves, he doesn't want any air particles getting in there whatsoever.
No.
Do you know what? If you're a person who's a diver, then you have got equipment, haven't you? You've got the scuba mask. You could walk around with an oxygen tank. So you're only breathing in oxygen from a tank and nobody else's oxygen. I'd love to see that. A guy in flippers walking around, wetsuit, scuba mask, whatever the thing's called, the oxygen thing that goes in your mouth. I don't know.
Alex, you joke, but it may come to this. Yep. It's only a matter of time. The guy had a full face mask with double vents and the hood pulled down tight. He even had wellies on too. The man, who appeared to be protecting himself against the coronavirus, browsed the aisles and bought groceries. I'm going to leave that there. I think you get the gist of the story, really.
I do.
So, the next
listeners will also get the gist of why Rob and I have decided now to introduce our new podcast that will run every other episode. Just because we've realised that for the next few months, so if you go to local news websites right now, everything is about coronavirus pretty much.
It's so difficult to find stories, and also it's not just because obviously we do delve into national papers as well, and at the moment it's very, very difficult to find humorous stories. Unfortunately, the world is on fire. So my second story is from Richard Mills from the Somerset Live, who apparently is the senior reporter, which is good to know.
Can I just say on that, Rob, because I was interested by how you put things there. It's a bit like trying to run a local news podcast during Nazi Germany. There isn't a lot of good news around.
No. I mean, those weren't my exact words, Alex, but it's a good tagline for this episode. Like to run a local news podcast in Nazi Germany. Anyway, so this story is from the 20th of March, and the headline: Shopper leaves empty shop with frozen pizza and jelly babies for dinner.
Yes, now look, it has been difficult. It is interesting the different choices that I'm having to make sometimes with food, because you basically get, what's there.
See, this is it. I don't know whether we're lucky, but we have really struggled. So
when's the last time you went supermarket shopping?
Saturday. So we went to Sainsbury's on Saturday, and it was about 1:00 in the afternoon. We got meat, we got pasta, we got eggs.
Okay, that
milk.
is a real surprise.
And
I don't understand.
No, I mean, we're quite lucky in the fact that we have quite a lot of supermarkets in a close proximity.
You might have just got lucky. I mean, I don't know. But when I was in Sainsbury's and I was walking down a desolate aisle, I saw this young woman who she walked past the sort of last cans of tinned hot dogs, and it was like she was doing something she was completely ashamed by. She turned around and took one off the shelf and put it in her basket, and you could see, and then walked off very hurriedly. You could see that she felt ashamed by this, but felt she had no other choice than to buy one of those hot dogs in a can.
I mean, Alex, we've featured those hot dogs on this podcast.
I gave you one as a present, didn't I?
That's right, and I mean, they really should be used as a last resort.
Oh, you ate one live on air. Do you remember when we used to do the podcast face to face? You ate one straight out the tin, no cooking. I think you gagged, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I think when they have on the back mechanically recovered chicken.
That was it. It was a chicken sausage in a can.
Yeah, those famous chicken sausages that everyone loves so much. Anyway, a shopper faced with rows of empty shelves at a Bath supermarket said they left with frozen pizza and jelly babies for dinner. Twitter user Tribius went to the Sainsbury's at Green Park Station this week only to find aisles upon aisles that have been left bare. Faced with this situation, Tribulus tweeted his 3 dinner options had failed and was left with little to no option.
Well, the frozen pizza isn't a big deal. I mean, that's okay. You didn't have to have jelly babies for dessert. You don't have to have dessert with your meal.
No. He doesn't actually specify. I wonder whether the jelly babies were going to be an additional topping on the pizza.
That's the new pizza we could have come up if we worked in Pizza Hut. Jelly baby special.
Good point. Let's face it, someone's going to eat it. The tweet reads, Bar Sainsbury's, my 3 dinner options all failed. I've got the last frozen pizza instead and some jelly babies. # winning. Can I just say, by the way, this is a story that featured local news. Well, that featured local newspapers, so you can kind of imagine how bleak things have got. And then it goes into the panic buying. I'm not going to feature a lot of the panic buying because I think everyone knows what's going on.
The other question is, Rob, is how long are the local newspapers going to be able to run for?
Well, that's it. I mean, people aren't paying for them. I think it's worth mentioning, though. So yesterday, in a show of solidarity, I think the bulk of newspapers across the UK ran the same headline. I think deliberately targeting the elderly and the vulnerable, saying that, you know, we're here for you. It's quite a nice sentiment, actually. But it is a good point. It was a very good point, actually, because who is buying
What does it mean? What does it mean? Are we there for them? I don't know. Rob, look, I just want you to just imagine now, right? You're 84. You're stuck indoors for 12 weeks. Maybe you haven't got any family. And all you've really got is the TV. Rob, there's only so many fucking repeats of Last of the Summer Wine you can watch.
That's a good point. Before turning to local news journalism and realising it could be a lot worse.
Okay, Rob, it is time for our listener story of the week. Who's it from?
So this week, I'm sure it's not going to come as any surprise. It's from Amy, who has submitted numerous stories, and then we're still working our way through the backlog. This goes back a bit. It goes back to the 19th of February. I mean, not too bad, just over a month ago. It's from the Mirror. The journalist is Matthew Dresch. I think that's pronounced right. Yeah, Matthew Dresch. And the headline: Prankster who promised girlfriend Spar weekend takes her on tour of Spar shops instead.
I like that. Rob, can I ask you a favour? At the moment, I can't really see you very well. It's quite sinister. Would you mind just turning the light on? Because it's very dark, and you kind of look like you're broadcasting from a sort of a bunker in Russia somewhere. So if you could turn on that light.
I'll be honest, I kind of like it. I like the glow. I'm lit purely by the glow of 2 laptops, which is a new setup for this week only. But if you really want me to turn the light on, I can do that.
I would, yes.
Okay, fine.
I'm also looking at Rob from a different angle than I normally used to. Nothing dirty, but it's a bit odd. It's a different profile of his face. I'm not used to seeing it. I think I prefer the other profile, the other side. Light. We have light, Rob. Good.
Now, listeners, I haven't heard anything that he's just been saying, so it could have been Was it smut?
No smut there.
So, a cheeky boyfriend who promised his girlfriend a spa weekend took her on a tour of 9 spa shops instead.
Did he do that during the coronavirus outbreak, or is this...
No, this is in February.
Good.
So, I mean, the first cases may have been confirmed, but, it wasn't at its height.
There was a brilliant thing that happened, I don't know, a ballpark it like 8 years ago, where loads of spas closed around here. But what I loved was that people who took them over just couldn't be bothered to change the signage, so they just stuck another letter at the end. So like Spark or whatever else you can think of.
I remember Spark. I used to go past it on the bus. That's a good point. Does anyone, listeners, please get in contact. Is Spar still a thing?
Well, it must be, because he just took around 8 of them, didn't he? Moron. Sorry, that was a bit unnecessary.
No,
sorry.
it's been a long day.
Tensions are running high right now,
Yeah, no, that's fair. Sue Parkey, 44, imagined a weekend of pampering when Dave Burrows told her they were going away for a spa weekend for Valentine's. She was shocked to discover he had a slightly less relaxing weekend in store for her after she turned up at a spa shop in Birmingham. It gets even bleaker. Miss Burrows, 37, was still blissfully aware that she'd been tricked when she arrived at the first shop, assuming her boyfriend was just popping in for some snacks. It was not until they pulled up outside a spa that Miss Parkey's suspicions were aroused. She told the Sun, "I thought, what's going on? We're not going on a spa tour, are we?" It slowly dawned on her that she'd been deceived when Mr. Burrows kept shopping at different spa shops in the area. Her boyfriend insisted on taking selfies outside each branch with pictures showing a grumpy Miss Parkey sulking in the background.
Right. Hang on a minute. So they're just basically attention seekers who are looking. You thought this was the way to do it.
I think that it's just a stunt. That's all it is.
Yeah.
She told the Sun she'd been looking forward to a sauna and a massage at the spa. Speaking about the prank, Mr. Burrows said she wasn't very impressed. If you say you're going on a spa weekend, everyone thinks SPA. I'm not sure why you felt you needed to spell it out.
In Birmingham, you have to, Robbie. You've got to understand that, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, fair enough. But I thought it would be funny to go on a spa weekend. I did buy her something in each one. I'm not a total monster.
Right.
He explained how the pair...
What did he buy her in each one?
He bought her something. He bought like a Twix or something in each shop.
Didn't buy a Topic then, did he? Didn't buy a Topic. That's a high-end chocolate bar. It's top end of the tier of chocolate bars there.
Hang on, you're saying a Topic is the top end?
It costs the same, but it's much smaller. And it's very rich and delicious. A Topic is a higher candy bar, without dispute.
I think I disagree with that. Do you remember Fuse bars,
sorry.
by the way?
What do you mean you disagree? I've just told you it's smaller, but it costs the same. Therefore, it's higher end. This is what I tell the ladies, It's smaller, but it's better.
It's high end. I think the reason they're smaller is because they don't make any money, so they have to charge more for the products.
Sorry, this is bullshit. I'm going to look up who makes Topic bars. I don't want you besmirching the name of Topic bars. It's like a high-end Snickers bar. Right, Topic bar. Here we go.
No one has ever said, when asked the question, "What's your favourite chocolate bar?" they said a Topic.
It's only made by Mars, Rob. It contains hazelnuts, which is a high-end nut. Nougat. It is, and caramel.
Can we have a...
This is something you could be getting on Daft Talk, to be honest. But
hazelnuts, the high-end nut, as an episode title.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. The bar was first introduced in 1962. Right? It was advertised as hazelnut in every bite. And it was promoted in a series of radio adverts. With a strap line, a joy to make, but a bitch to eat.
Wow, that's a bold advertising campaign. I appreciate that.
Do you know which actors the adverts featured?
Say again, which actors?
Yes.
1960s actors. Tony Hancock.
No, sorry. It's 2002.
Sorry. So 2002. Who was famous in 2002?
I'm just going to tell you. Simon Pegg and Mark Heap from Spaced.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It was removed from boxes of celebrations in 2006 with Twix bars because it was thought to be too high end.
It doesn't say that, Alex, does it? What does it say?
Just removed. Boxes of celebrations along with Twix.
Yeah, because no one wants them.
Yeah. What is a high end candy bar then? You can't count Bourneville.
What's a really high end? Do you know what? A flake for me. That's a high end candy bar. Chocolate bar, not American. Luxurious chocolate.
Yeah, I quite like a crunchy right now. Do you know that?
Yeah, I quite. And Alex, we're going off topic.
Right,
here,
do you have any crunches in the house?
Ironically, in the house.
Yeah.
No, not at the moment.
What do you mean in the house? Where else are you going to keep them? Your secret stash out in the garden somewhere? What do you mean in the house? Where else do you keep your bloody crunchy bars?
I've just never been asked. No, but I've never been asked. Do you have a crunchy in the house? This is like a really random question.
I've just said to you, do you have crunches with you? And you've just said, what do you mean in the house? What are you talking about?
Look, if there's a case where we have to enter lockdown, I've stashed a load of crunchies strategically around my
in
house.
The woods. That would be a good idea, actually. Just start hiding food like in locations in the vicinity of where I live, like in a pothole under a manhole cover, or like bury some tins of beans underneath a tree in the park. It's a great idea.
We don't know what's going to happen in a couple of months.
I might start putting some stuff in the loft, maybe, or I could put some few cans of beans in the cistern of my toilet in case somebody raids my house.
Hang on, are they raiding your house looking for the beans?
No, yes, they're. What might happen, Rob, if people be so starving they start raiding people's houses for food. So you've got to hide stuff somewhere, just like squirrels with nuts. This is what you've got to look forward to on Daft Talk, by the way, everybody.
Right, I'm going to finish the story and then we should really finish the episode. Right, anyway, he explained how the pair cruised around for 2 hours, stopping in Spars around Birmingham. While Miss Parky 44 did eventually see the funny side of her partner's practical joke, she has vowed to take her revenge. And she was found to have murdered him later that day.
On that note, we bring what episode 308? We bring episode 308 to a close, and we look forward with a mixture of eager anticipation, yet trepidation. How am I going to say this? Because which episode are we talking about? The next episode of LA Podcast Local News or LA Podcast Daft Talk? Which one is it? Anyway, if you move ever more forward, Rob, like
a man who's ushering his partner into the car so they can visit the next spa on their whistle stop tour of the area.
Just like that, we move ever more forward to our next episode, which will, as I said, will be episode 308. We're on our website, lapodcast.net. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/LA Podcast. We're on Twitter at LA Podcast. We can be found on Spotify. On our website, there's a donate button in the top right-hand corner if you feel like donating. But to be honest, Rob, I think I've got to say this. If you feel like donating to us, don't donate to a worthy cause like a charity or a food bank or something.
I completely agree.
I
think that's it. If you have money to spare, please donate to shelter or other worthy causes. Don't
worry about us. We'll just starve. But that's okay. I've got my couple of tins of beans in the cistern of my toilet,
and I've got my secret crunchy supply.
Yeah. Do you have crunches in the house, Rob?
No, I don't, Alex.
Do you have any chocolate bars in the house at all?
We got 2 Easter eggs.
Easter's cancelled, Rob, just so you know.
Yeah, I know.
There's no resurrection this year. It's a leap year. It's a leap year in resurrection terms.
All monotheistic religions are cancelled.
Yeah.
We shouldn't joke about that.
I can't remember what I was talking about before, but if you want to submit us a story, you can tweet it to us, post it on Facebook, or email us the good old-fashioned way. Send it to lapodcast.net@gmail.com. That's lapodcast.net@gmail.com. Headlines. Do you have any this week?
I have. Yeah, I did manage to find some.
Okay, so as always, we're going to go through the stories that never made it. These are headlines of stories that we've researched, but we just didn't feature them. Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Monica Lewinsky urges her 750,000 followers to send feces to the White House.
I think we can all... Yeah, I can understand that. So everyone is social distancing in this Where's Wally coronavirus edition, so it's easier than usual to find him.
I like that. Okay. Bat excrement collectors in Thailand undeterred by possible link to COVID-19. Why would people do this? There are people in Thailand who collect, would you believe, as a hobby, bat excrement. Just put that on hold. Collect excrement from another animal.
I think it's quite highly prized. I think that's what it is.
Right. Can I just give you another one? Priest offers drive-through confessions after church closes due to COVID-19.
Nice.
Yeah. How do you think that works? You just sort of drive up outside his house and you have the confessional through the letterbox.
I imagine so, yeah.
Right.
He just shouts it through the window. Shopper banned from...
You're forgiven!
Shopper banned from Tesco's after taking photos of empty UK shelves.
What? What happened? They banned?
Yeah. For 6 months. Yeah.
Why is he not allowed to do that? I don't understand.
I didn't read the story. I just saw the headline.
Right. Baltimore mayor asked residents to stop shooting each other so coronavirus patients can have hospital beds.
That's fair. Serial flasher gets arrested and then tells cops, "I'm just an arsehole. What can I say?"
Cheating husband catches coronavirus on trip to Italy with mistress. So that was in the Sun.
Lovely.
But, you brought it on yourself, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Have you got any more?
No, I'm out.
Okay, I've got 2 for you. They're good. Vicar sets himself on fire during first online coronavirus church service.
Yep, saw that.
It was in the UK. It was just
yep.
it was an accident. And last one, which you're going to love, Rob. Lecturer calls out students for hand job in recording of a law lecture, which...
Yeah, saw that as well.
Well, it's what it sounds like. Somebody was giving somebody else a hand shandy in a law lecture, and the lecturer did not like it. Okay, thank you for listening to everybody. We're going to be back. Don't worry, LA Podcast, the traditional LA Podcast format isn't going anywhere. It's coming back in a week's time. But we are going to have this other show called Daft Talk, and you're going to discover what it's all about. It's got nothing to do with local news, and but in time we will be asking for your submissions towards it. But we'll explain all of that when we get to it. So it should be out by the weekend. We're recording on Friday, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are actually.
Rob, you seem surprisingly exhausted for a man who's been working from home all week. It takes all your energy out of it, doesn't it?
I didn't sleep well last night, and I normally, I started working from home. I start about 8:15, so it can be quite a long day.
Right. Well, thank you for listening, everybody, and do stay well and keep 2 meters apart, whatever you do. God bless.
And keep it local.